What's topic three?
Okay, I got to get ahead of this for when people in the comments start saying, "Oh, this is UNC Friday now." This was suggested by Greg. I am indulging Greg to make fun of my team. We can talk UNC center issues and why they're not pursuing a five right now and why I'm sad about it.
Mm.
Do you want to lead off, Greg, or do you want me to just vent?
Let me set the table, and then I think it's only right that you just take the microphone and do whatever you want with the microphone. It's like you're at my wedding and you're my dad, and you raised me for 18 years, and then you watched me blossom into the young man that I am 7 years later. And it's your moment. You get to do whatever you want. That's how I feel. I wanted to talk about this because Carter made a really interesting point earlier this week to me that I agree with completely, which is every single fan base right now seems to be explaining away either mistakes or misses as if it was always the plan. I'm seeing that with every fan base. I'm seeing that with my Michigan fan base right now as the Jameer Watkins recruitment plays out. I've seen it with Michigan State. We're certainly seeing it with Illinois. I think we saw it with Purdue to an extent with the Gillis stuff, but even that probably was the plan. Anyways, the point is North Carolina has been rumored with like 100 different front court players. Like every single week, there's a new, here's our guy. Like you've gone through it with me. It was Cliff, it was Danny Wolf early, then it was Onyensu. Like I know I'm missing like seven other guys, and one by one by one by one by one, North Carolina didn't get them. And now I'm sitting here dealing with our comment section being like, you guys are idiots. North Carolina backed out of this recruitment. And then I'm texting you about it, and you're like, yeah, actually, like North Carolina pulled out from Uganda a week ago. So my question is, why? Like, why when Trilly is reporting that it's North Carolina and Kansas State getting a visit this week? Why is Hubert pulling out of the recruitment when he's one of two schools getting a visit? And why has this happened with every single target? And if he is, whether or not he's pulling out, why has North Carolina not gotten a big man this offseason? I don't get it.
I don't get the why either. I will say Danny Wolf was not a miss. UNC didn't really recruit him. I think he
How
reached out.
many
I
of these
think
guys weren't recruited? Because it was like you guys were flirting with a visit with Danny Wolf, right? And then he just never visited. That's the same thing with Uganda.
No, I think UNC. I think UNC thought they were getting Adu or Cliff and moved on from Danny Wolf. Adu and Cliff were misses. There's no way to sugarcoat that. They missed on both of them. Everything that I have heard, and this is, I'm in a similar situation with y'all. Like we talk to national guys, we hear things, we have connections to various programs, we hear things. UNC is very, very competitive in NIL. They have money. NIL has not been the issue. I don't know. This is where I have to say I don't know where the pitch hasn't resonated with Cliff, with Adu, to where they couldn't get Adu on campus. Adu went to Arkansas, had a visit scheduled with UNC, canceled the UNC visit, and committed on his Arkansas visit. Don't know whatever happened with Aaron Bradshaw. That was short lived. If you want to call that a miss, I'll give it to you. Who else is there? Ballo. They had an initial call with Umar Ballo. His
Did you
recruitment was
did
wrapped up
you did
really.
you mention did you mention Omer? Were you guys ever in on Omer?
No, we were never in on Omer.
Uh,
Yeah,
Like,
I would have loved for.
okay, I'm fine with like defining miss however you want to define it. Back to the Danny Wolf thought process. Michigan got Danny Wolf for $300,000. Like, would it be fair to say, given what has happened to you, you should have just outbid Michigan there? Like, there's been a
But the thing,
bazillion gettable front court guys you haven't got.
yeah, I don't think I think UNC focused on Cliff and Adu. You could say maybe they narrowed their pool too quickly, and Wolf committed to Michigan and during that time span. I
yeah.
am not like I would say I am not happy with UNC's front court situation. I don't think that it's just going to be great. Like the optimist in me thinks like between Van Allen Lubin and Jalen Washington and Jalen Withers and Zayden High, you can scrap together 40 competent minutes at the center position.
So what
But
happened
I'm
with
not.
Onyenso?
So in Yenzo, look, I don't have any intel on that. All I know is on the day of the NBA draft deadline, that Inside Carolina, who in my opinion is like the gold standard of UNC related reporting, they reported that UNC was no longer pursuing Yenzo.
So they just the day it got announced they were going to get a visit from Onyenso, they decided they don't want a visit from Onyenso.
I think it was like 2 or 3 days later when it was there was that the Tipton report that he ended up delete. Like, I'm not throwing Tipton under the bus. Hopefully that doesn't sound like that, but it was something that was initially published that like by On3 that Onyenso would take a UNC visit, and then they took it down like later that same day.
Do we?
I don't know what happened.
Do we think it's money?
I mean, I think UNC has the money to spend on Onyenso if they want to. I don't know if they wanted to. I want them to. I want Big U. I would love UConn Onyenso and Carolina Blue at Argyle.
I agree with that. I think the biggest misstep y'all took in this process is that, like, you got Lubin, right? But you're still going to get other bigs. Get Danny Wolf early, and you can still get a bunch of bigs if you want to. That's the miss. I like what Hubert. I do like what he got in like K Tyson, right? And even Lubin, I think it doesn't get enough credit for his production. I think that's a good player. All in all, like, if we're grading the offseason outside of like getting RJ Davis back, we're just grading it on how the transfer portal strategy was put forward, attacked, executed. Like, you get some points for K Tyson, you get some points for Lubin, but it's like a C minus, D plus, like transfer portal offseason.
That's where I'm at with it. I'd say like a C minus.
Where it shouldn't be, because this is what would frustrate me most if I'm a UNC fan. You have this window right now where you got blessed with another year of RJ Davis, and you have all this money, and you're UNC. Go do what you could have. You can push back on this if you want, Riley. Hubert Davis could have did the exact same thing that Nate Oates did, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Which is just like fill all your scholarships and let it up, see how the chips fall.
Get 15 killers and figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I love Hubert. I went on record back in December and said, that's our coach. I am in. I still trust him. I trust his roster building.
I trust his ability to recruit. I mean, this has really been the first offseason since he's been the head coach that he has had misses in the portal. I know Pete Nance didn't work out. Everybody wanted Pete Nance. I know Dawson Garcia didn't work out. Everybody wanted Dawson Garcia. And then you see the hits of like Brady Manick, Harrison Ingram, Cormac Ryan, to where like he has done well in the portal thus far. And that's part of why it was so surprising to me to see the miss on Cliff, the miss on Adu. I'm sure they're going to change things up going forward with how they approach the portal. It's just it's a bummer to see, to just feel like there could have been better players at least considered for RJ's last season.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. That's my thing. Like whether or not it's like missing or not, that's what I want to know, because at some point we are going to grade North Carolina's offseason. And I guess I just like, I hear, okay, we backed out of guys we could pay for that are good. Okay. Why? So you decide, like, that would signal to me, if you backed out of Danny Wolf and you backed out of UConn Onyenso, that Hubert, one, yes, thought there were better players he could get with Wolf, or two, thinks his center spot's fine. But you don't, if you think your center spot's fine, you don't target 7 centers in the summer. Like he tried to get 7 centers. He didn't get any of them. And some of them you're telling me he backed out of. Some of them you're telling me just chose other schools. But you're also telling me we have the money to get whoever we want. Like so did they just literally lose? Nobody wants to play center at North Carolina right now? Like, I have a hard time believing that. It makes no sense to me.
I don't know why they backed out of Onyenso. Like, unless it's like maybe they don't see him as that big of an upgrade or like that much of a game changer to warrant the price tag. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would love Big U in Chapel Hill, but I'm not the coach.
So who starts at center?
As of right now, I think the day one starter would be, there's part of me that wants to say Jalen Withers.
Oh boy.
But maybe I'm going to go with Jalen Washington. I think Washington has more upside.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, death by lethal injection or death by the chair, but yeah.